All right, let me ask you something. What if you woke up tomorrow and you just didn't exist anymore? I don't mean forgotten, I mean completely, totally erased. Your friends have no idea who you are, your idea's gone, and every single record of your life, from your birth certificate to your career, it's all just vanished. It is a terrifying thought, and it's right at the heart of Philip K. Dick's novel, Flow My Tears, the Policeman Said. Today we're going to break down exactly how one man's entire world just shattered overnight.
So, meet Jason Taverner. This guy isn't just famous, he's practically a global institution. He's this incredibly charismatic singer, a TV host, the kind of celebrity that basically defines an entire era. That sign-off line isn't just a catchphrase, it's a command to millions and millions of adoring fans. This man is at the absolute top of his game. He has everything.
And when I say millions, I'm not kidding. 30 million people. That's how many tune in to watch his show every single week. His whole identity, his power, his sense of self, it's all built on this giant, unshakable foundation of public love. In a world obsessed with data, he is one of the most visible, most documented men alive.
And then, Wednesday happens. One moment, he's a 6, a genetically engineered human designed for peak everything, a literal Superman at the top of the world. The next, he wakes up in some dingy Fleabag hotel room. His wallet's nearly empty. All his ideas just gone. And here's the creepy part. It's not that he's a has-been. It's that he never was. The world didn't just forget him. It completely reset to a version where he never even existed.
So, in a total panic, Taverner calls the Central Birth Registry to try and prove he's real. And this is the soul-crushing answer he gets. I mean, it's one thing for people to not recognize you on the street. It's a whole other level of terrifying when the official machinery of the state, the final word on who is real and who isn't, confirms you were never even born. The data that made him who he was, it's gone.
So where does that leave him? What is a person without any proof? Suddenly, Taverner is dumped into the very world he used to entertain from his ivory tower, a world he never really had to touch. And this is his new reality, a desperate scramble just to survive.
See, in this super-controlled future, not having an ID makes you an unperson. And that's not just a fancy term for a headache at the DMV. To the state, an unperson is a glitch in the system, a dangerous problem that needs to be caught and shipped off to a forced labor camp on the moon. Taverner went from A-list celebrity to public enemy #1 in less than a day.
And this is the world he's now trying to survive. It's an absolutely brutal dystopia. You've got constant police and National Guard checkpoints, which means he can't even walk down the street without risking it all. With no papers, the cops just assume he's an escaped student from one of the universities who are treated like criminals. It's a world of nonstop paranoia, cruelty, and even state-enforced racial purity laws. His only shot is to buy forged documents, a crime that could get him put away for good.
Now, while Taverner is fighting for his life in the shadows, a very high-ranking police official is about to run into the other side of this impossible coin. It's a mystery that lands right on his desk and threatens to unravel everything he knows about law, order, and reality itself. So this really lays out the two sides of our story. You've got Jason Taverner, the 6, this genetically perfect Superman who's just had his whole world pulled out from under him. And on the other side, there's Felix Buckman, a top police general, an ordinary human who stumbles onto a case that just doesn't make any sense. It's the extraordinary versus the ordinary, and neither one of them knows what the heck is going on.
And this is the moment the whole paradox lands right in Buckman's lap. A file gets opened on some mysterious new suspect, but the only piece of information anyone can find is this little note telling them the man is a ghost. The system is flagged a threat, but the system is also saying that this threat is completely impossible.
And this right here is the question that starts to eat away at Buckman. How do you investigate a phantom? In a world that's built on total surveillance, where every single person is tracked and cataloged, how can a man be physically walking around, causing problems, but leave absolutely zero trace? It's a logical contradiction, and for a cop like Buckman, that just cannot happen.
Well, it turns out the answer isn't in any police database. It's hiding in a reality-bending experimental drug and inside the mind of a very, very troubled woman.
And here we meet the final, crucial piece of the puzzle. You can see the roles here. Taverner's the subject, Felix is the investigator, but the real center of this whole thing, the catalyst, is Alice Buckman.
She is Felix's mysterious, deeply unstable twin sister and, unbeknownst to anyone, a huge Jason Taverner fan.
So this is the key. This insane drug, KR3. It is unbelievably powerful. It doesn't just make the user hallucinate. No, it takes whatever fantasy is in the user's head and projects it onto the entire world, making it the new shared reality for everyone. Just think about that for a second. One person's daydream can become everyone's real life, and nobody would even realize anything had changed.
Okay, so this sequence shows exactly how reality got broken. First, Alice, who is obsessed with Taverner, has this whole detailed fantasy where she knows him, but in her world, he's not a superstar. Step 2, she takes the KR3, and in that instant, poof, her fantasy becomes everyone's reality. And in this new world, Jason Taverner, the celebrity, never existed. Then, tragically, Alice dies from an overdose. The drug's effect wears off, and reality snaps back to normal just as suddenly as it left.
And that snapback is just whiplash for everyone. Taverner suddenly finds himself famous again. His fans, his show, his whole history, it's all back. But for General Buckman, the paradox just got even weirder. Suddenly, the complete file on the celebrity Jason Taverner, all 30 million viewers accounted for, just appears out of thin air. The 2 days he spent hunting and unperson have been wiped from history for everyone except him and the man he was hunting.
So the plot might be resolved, but the emotional damage is deep and permanent. See, the story isn't just about a weird sci-fi event. It's about the scars it leaves on the people who lived through it, and the strange empathy that's born from that shared trauma.
And here we see the lasting impact on our two main guys. Taverner gets his whole life back, sure, but he can never ever forget that terror of being powerless, of being a complete nobody. He's gained this painful, unwanted empathy. Buckman, on the other hand, solves his impossible case, but what does it cost him? His sister's life. He's left completely alone to deal with his grief and the horrifying knowledge of just how fragile our reality actually is.
This quote from a dream Buckman has after Alice dies is just so powerful. Even though he knows Taverner is alive and famous again, in his heart, he's grieving for the man who was hunted and terrified. He feels like the police state that he commands truly destroyed a part of Taverner. It's this moment of profound and totally unexpected connection between them.
So what are the big ideas here? When you boil it all down, the story is a deep dive into identity, reality, and empathy. It makes you ask these huge questions. Is your identity who you are on the inside? Or is it just a collection of data that someone can delete? Is reality some fixed solid thing, or is it just a story we all agree on? And what does it take for powerful people like Taverner and Buckman to finally feel true empathy for those who have nothing?
In the end, Taverner's horrible 2-day trip into non-existence leaves us all with this final chilling thought. In a world where our lives are becoming more and more like collections of data points in some giant network, what part of you is actually you? What's left when the file gets deleted? What, at the end of the day, makes you real?